Hello everyone, I wanted to start this video with an absolutely massive thank you to you all. When I posted the last video, I never expected to receive such a positive response. That video has almost 1,000 likes and over 350 positive comments. This response has given me a significant motivational boost, and as you may have already noticed, I've been creating a new look for the channel. Although many of you requested that I kept the name of the channel the same, it doesn't feel right and it's time for a new start. One of the names I'm seriously considering is Prestige Reef, but I wanted to get your opinion first. To give you a better idea, I've made a new intro and I've had a logo created for me by a very talented designer. They took inspiration from the frag racks we used to create something sleek and professional. The only thing I couldn't decide on is if it looks better in black or white. I wasn't planning to put up another video until after I got home from Australia, however it would appear from the comments on my last video that you feel a tank update is long overdue. After I started to create this video, I realised it would probably end up being very long, so rather than do one big update, I'll do lots of smaller updates until I'm back in the UK. 2 months is the longest time I've been away from the tank, and if I'm honest, I'm a little nervous. However, it's in good hands and I want to introduce you all to my friend Tim, who maintains the tank while I'm away. Having a knowledgeable, local friend who also has a tank is priceless, even if he does keep sending me threatening videos about all the fragging he's doing. You'll have to bear with me with regards to sound quality though, as I only have my travel microphone on me. I wasn't sure where to begin, as so much has changed, but I should probably start off with where I left off in the last video. People react in different ways when their life takes an unexpected change, and one of the first things I did was to head straight to the fish shop for a little retail therapy. We've all come across livestock which we really want, but we know that adding them to our system might not be the best idea. An excellent example of this is a copper band butterfly in a tank full of triggers. It isn't impossible to do, however success is unlikely. 99% of the time we resist that urge and we let our better judgment win. However, every now and then we feel a little reckless and that 1% takes over. This is exactly what I did. On the same day I purchased 3 new pieces of livestock from 3 different shops. 2 were a success, while 1 turned out to be a nightmare. My first purchase of the day was the least questionable. It was a Dorasa clam. I've never kept a clam before, however these are known for being one of the hardiest, and they provide an additional service of being a natural filter. It was the perfect size, approximately 4 inches. When it comes to clams, bigger is always better. As clams grow, their primary source of feeding changes from being a filter feeder to relying more heavily on photosynthesis. This change happens once they're approximately 3 inches in size, so anything smaller can have a tough time finding enough food in the tank to grow. Multiple feedings of phytoplankton or a manufactured clam food are recommended for smaller clams, however you will need to keep an eye on your water quality. The clam was bagged up and I moved on to the second shop. At the second shop I instantly noticed a possible new addition, one of my all-time favourites, a regal angelfish. A fish which has long been on my look but don't buy list, as they have the potential to be a bit nippy with regards to corals. This isn't their only issue. This would be the most expensive fish I've ever purchased, and these fish have a pretty poor survival rate in captivity. This is usually due to them failing to eat. Having said that, fish selection really does come down to the individual fish in front of you, and if you know what to look out for, even some of the more problematic fish can be kept without issue. This specimen had 4 things going for it. Firstly, it's from the Red Sea. You can tell this because it has a yellow belly and virtually no eye spot on its dorsal fin. Regal angels come in 3 different colorations, and with these colorations you are able to identify where the fish has been collected. Specimens from the Red Sea have the highest survival rate, while the grey-bellied regals from the Indo and South Pacific have the lowest. This is clearly reflected in the prices for each, as there was a grey belly in the same shop on the same day for half the price. Sadly, I know that this fish died not long after my visit. The second positive is that she had been in the shop for a month. It's always good practice to find out how long a fish has been in captivity for. This is especially important for this species as they often struggle to acclimatise to tank life. However, size does play a big role in that, which leads me on to my third point. The fish in front of me was around 3.5 inches, the perfect size for a regal angel. Smaller specimens need additional feeding as they have a higher metabolism and will often starve if you can't get them onto prepared food quickly. Large adults have a similar issue in the fact they are stuck in their ways when it comes to diet and will often turn their nose up at all prepared food. They are also notoriously poor shippers. The final and by far the most important part is that she was eating, and I don't mean taking the occasional peck. I mean ferociously hunting down flake food as it drifted around her tank. something I've never seen from this species before. Despite all this, I left the shop empty-handed, as I could imagine her having an all-you-can-eat buffet on my new clam and then using a sharp piece of Hystrix as a toothpick to clean her beak. The third shop was when that desire to purchase something a little more risky crept in again. When I walked in, I found the most beautiful Hawaiian boxfish. You can tell it's a female as the males are a striking blue colour. Many of you will know that I have a soft spot for boxfish, and I currently have one in my tank called Pablo. I've had Pablo for a year and a half and he's beginning to lose his bright yellow coloration for something a little more subtle, although he's still a way off the monster he will eventually transform into. This change is a sign of him maturing, therefore it's time to get him a girlfriend, and although I know they are different types of boxfish, it's 2018 and we don't judge here, especially as my canary and silver belly wrasse don't hide their relationship and spawn together on a regular basis. Boxfish have a very poor survival rate in captivity. They may nip corals and have the added bonus of a reputation which states they can release a chemical that will kill everything in your tank. Sounds pretty risky if you ask me. I personally have known many people who have attempted to keep boxfish which later perished with no notable side effects, even if the body was never recovered. I know that fellow YouTuber Mile High Reefer found the same when it came to keeping cowfish. I'm starting to wonder if this rumour was started by the boxfish themselves as a way to reduce their desirability. If you think about it, it makes sense. If they didn't have this potentially massive downside, there would be far more in people's tanks, because who can resist that face? As I inspected the comical black and white cube floating in front of me, I thought she would be the perfect tank mate for Pablo, although there was a slight issue. She was already reserved for another customer. However, as they hadn't come back into the store for a couple of months, the owner agreed to sell her to me. He bagged her up and it wasn't long before she was on her way home to meet her new boyfriend, but not before taking a slight detour. Once back in the car, I found myself heading back to the second shop, and as if by magic, a regal angel materialised in a bag next to the other two. That was when a sense of impending doom set in. I had just purchased 2 fish for a 1,000 litre tank full of corals, neither of which were considered reef safe. What could possibly go wrong? I got home, everything was acclimated and added to the tank, and I sat there apprehensively waiting for the chaos to unfold. What I can tell you is that one of these fish turned out to be brilliant, while the other was an absolute nightmare. Please feel free to leave your guesses in the comment section below and I'll let you know at the start of the next video. How did she used to finish these again? Thank you for watching, please subscribe.